Hello, model railroading community. This is David with the F&B Railroad, and I'm here to bring you update number 19. It's after the holidays. I didn't get much done throughout the holidays, so I'll show you what I did get done for this update. And in this update, I will show you the work I got done on my logging camp, some improvements I've done to my backdrop. I got a lot more work to do to my backdrop to improve it. And then I worked on a covered hopper. I weathered it and graffitied it. And I'll also show you how I make the pine trees for my logging area. So let's get into this. So here you see the logging area, and I'm zooming in. I finished off the rest of the ground cover on that right hand side, and I've built all these trees. Now I'm modeling early fall, so my trees are mostly green with patches of color here and there. And I got some rocks added in, and I painted the rocks. Some are natural, some are cast rocks. And what you see here is the pine trees that I've made. That's what I'm trying to show you here, is the different pine trees and the deciduous trees as well. But this area is getting treed, and it'll get some more trees and probably some more stumps. Now this is a backdrop that I've gotten from trainjunkies.com to upgrade my backdrop. I decided I would get this and try it. It came 18 inches by 80, and what I did is I cut out the trees, cutting out the sky, leaving the green. And then when I was done, I glued it onto my backdrop and then painted in the little bits that would have stuck out that I had cut off. And overall, I think it turned out well. It makes the backdrop look so much better than what I had. And I'm just going to have to carry this around to the rest of the backdrop, so I'm going to have a lot of work there, extending the backdrop across the rest of the way. Now what I did use here, I used up almost 80 inches. I think I used up like 50 inches of backdrop to do this, because I was cutting pieces to fit. In this area here, I tried first leaving the sky and it didn't work well. So by the time I hit the valley, I was cutting off the sky and doing the greenery. So this is a covered hopper that I bought brand new. I'm just showing you the actually the 6 sides. These sides, the way they look. This is all brand new. I haven't touched any of it yet. And there's your top. I'll show you the other side. I'll show you the bottom. A lot of detail on the bottom. And there's the other side. And I decided I was going to weather it up and graffiti it. So here it is. This is what it looks like now. You got your Big Hair Sally graffiti on the side of it. It's washed down with white to dull down the shine of the plastic. I also put some black on it to get it darker in some areas. I also used some very light tan paint and dry brushed on dirt on the trucks and on the bottom edge of the hopper to simulate dirt from being run down the rails. This side has the tag in the center and the same whitewash and just the black to highlight some of the details. I also did a little bit of rust. You can see in that upper right hand corner there's some rust on that corner, and there's some rust on the hold downs for the hatches, and a little bit of rust here and there. Not much, very little. All in all, I think the car came out well. Now, when I make my trees, I get a bamboo skewer, and I have a couple of them already done. And I sit with a knife and I'll carve these down so that they have a longer taper to them instead of just coming up the same diameter and then have a point. And when I carve them, I also try and carve them so that they're not perfectly straight. They'll have some bends in them and whatnot. So when I get done with that, I take a material that is a furnace filter, and it's more of a green fiberglass type material. I go and I spray paint one side brown, and then I cut squares. They're about 1.5 inches square, and then I cut my notches in the corners, and then I'll take this and I'll actually separate it so I end up with a couple of pieces. And I do that. I make some bigger ones, and then I go down to some smaller sizes. I got some that are all brown, completely brown. Some are brown and green, and I just go down in size, making smaller ones. And I use these to make my pine trees. And how I make my pine trees is I take a little Aleene's tacky glue. So yeah, the trunks, I carve them, then I dry brush them with some brown and some gray. And then to make my trees, I pick a spot. Put some Aleene's tacky glue around. And then I'll take one of my squares. And I'll poke it in, work it down. Glue, position it best I can, and then I'll go for another one. And then when I try and put this one on, I try to line up the piece over the opening of the next piece. Get it into the glue, get it lined up, and I just build my tree from there. So yeah, this is the material, fiberglass. This one's been painted all brown, and I need to cut some pieces. Different sized, but yeah, all I do is cut them into squares, and then out of the square take a triangle. And that'll make up that piece, and then I'll separate it. Some glue back on here. Slide it down the trunk, and there we go. So what we're doing here is we're gradually stepping down in size on our squares. So we started out with the largest at the bottom, and now we're getting to the smallest towards the top. Now for the top of the tree, I end up putting a triangle piece that I cut out on the top. So I go to the top, put some Aleene's glue, take the triangle, smush it into the top. So that makes the tree. And we'll let that dry, and then we'll go to the next step. Okay, so here we go. Here's my tree armature for my pine trees. All done up. Gonna hit them with some hairspray, and then we're gonna start coating these. So let me shoot this off. And now I got some Lifelike green grass. This is old stuff. And I'm just gonna rain it down on everybody. And that there alone gives me a lot of texture. But now I want to get to the bottom. And I want to put something on the bottom side to make these look a little darker. Spray it from the, I'm going to spray it this way down to get the bottom. And then I'm going to use some burnt grass, Woodland Scenics burnt grass. Now we got the top side, and we got the bottom side. Now we'll lock that in. Go down the top again. We're going to add some more color to this. Let's go with a real dark green. Now we've taken that bright green and we've dulled it down. Now we'll lock that in. And now what I'm going to go with is some yellow grass. And this yellow grass I am going to do very sparingly. What our pine tree's looking like. And we'll lock this in. And that's our pine tree. For now, we've got to let it dry and then we'll give it a haircut. Now the tree has had a chance to dry, we're going to give it a haircut. And I just come in and I clip. Take some of these bigger pieces and just thin them out. And I'll come up here to the top and I'll try and shape this a little bit. And that kind of ends up making the tree. Got bits and pieces that are falling down. I'll go and cut off any hairs that don't look right. But yeah, that's what we end up looking at for a pine tree. So that's how I build my pine trees. Okay, I tried to keep it as short as I could, but I guess I did get quite a bit done between the covered hopper and the work on the backdrop and the work that I have done on the logging camp and building trees. Trees take time, but I'm glad you all stayed and watched the whole thing, got to the end. I'd love it if you'd subscribe. If you're not already subscribed, if you are subscribed, or if you're going to subscribe, make sure you hit the bell to get new content, information, or notification of new content, I should say. As well as leave me a comment, share it with your friends, give me a thumbs up, that would be great. But yeah, I'd love to see more subscribers. So thank you for watching and keep on modeling.